Before the sky knew light, before time learned to move forward, before existence understood what it meant to be real, there was only silence. Not the absence of sound, but a living silence, vast, endless, and aware. Within that silence existed a being the ancient ones would later call the first god, though even that name was never truly spoken. This god had no form, no face, no throne. It did not rule, judge, or command. It waited. For in the beginning, the universe was not created by fire or war or love, but by restraint. The first god was born with a single purpose: to speak one word, only one. That word would define everything that ever existed. Stars, worlds, life, death, all of it rested on a sound that had not yet been released. The other divine beings, lesser and greater, came later, shaped indirectly by the pressure of that unspoken word. They formed realms within the silence, building early heavens and dark expanses, all orbiting the presence of the first god. They feared it, not because it was cruel, but because it was final. They knew that when the word was spoken, nothing could be undone. Ages passed without measure. The gods grew restless. They wanted definition, borders, names. Some believed the first god was merciful for waiting. Others believed it was a coward, afraid of responsibility. Whispers began among the divine courts. What if the word could be forced? What if silence itself was a prison holding the universe hostage? A faction rose, led by a god of echoes and repetition, one who believed sound itself was power. He argued that silence was decay, that meaning required expression. He gathered followers and began a war not of blades, but of pressure-forcing vibrations through the void, shaking the boundaries of silence itself. The universe trembled, though it had not yet been born. Those loyal to the first god tried to shield it, sacrificing their forms to reinforce the silence. They dissolved into sparks, becoming the first stars-burning guardians, created by devotion. As the conflict grew, the first god did something it had never done before. It remembered why it was waiting. Long before even the gods existed, it had seen a vision of what the word would cause. Not creation, but consequence. Not beauty alone, but suffering. To speak was to accept responsibility for every pain that would follow. And so it waited, hoping silence could spare existence from itself. The war reached its peak when the echoing god struck down the last guardian, a being formed of calm and breath. The closest thing the first god had to a companion. When that guardian fell, the silence cracked. For the first time, the first god felt loss, and loss demanded meaning. The first god spoke, not loudly, not in anger, not in command. Just one word released into the void. The universe did not explode outward as the gods expected. It collapsed inward. Time folded. Space screamed. Stars were born already dying. Worlds formed with fractures in their souls. The word had not been a word of creation. It had been a word of truth. The truth that existence would always carry pain equal to its beauty. The echoing god was erased instantly, unable to survive a reality where repetition no longer mattered. The remaining gods scattered, terrified of what had been unleashed. The first god did not speak again. It could not. The universe now existed, unstable but alive, held together by the momentum of that single truth. Ages later, mortals would rise, looking at the stars and wondering why the universe feels both magnificent and cruel. They would invent myths, pray to gods, search for meaning. None would know that everything they felt to love, the grief, the hope, the fear, was the echo of that one word. And somewhere beyond time, the first god still waits, silent once more, knowing that if it ever speaks again, there will be no silence left to return to.